Hi guys, it's Mel, and today I want to talk about gray rocking. I want to talk about a way to basically protect your peace, to protect you from manipulation, and also to protect you from having conversations or interactions with the narcissist. The name of that method that we're going to focus on is called gray rocking, aka gray rock. And how do we gray rock the narcissist? We gray rock the narcissist by starving the narcissist and not being emotionally supportive to the narcissist. So, in other words, when a narcissist comes and tries to have conversation or any type of interaction with us, what we do basically is we become so boring and so minimally responsive that the narcissist just gets tired or gets annoyed and say, you know what? I realize this person is not interested in me. They're very boring. I'm just going to move along. In other words, when you're gray rocking a narcissist, you're basically emotionally starving that narcissist. You're not providing that emotional supply for the narcissist. In other words, you're not a therapist for the narcissist anymore, or you're not a punching bag for the narcissist because you're having contact with them very minimal. Now, gray rocking works for the narcissist that you just can't avoid. Most times they'll say that with a narcissist that it's best to go no contact. But unfortunately, you cannot go no contact from every single narcissist. So because you can't go no contact from every single narcissist, you have to do something called gray rocking. Now, the narcissist that you can't go no contact, or it's harder to go no contact, are the narcissists that are at your job. It could be the narcissist, that you live with. It could be your significant other. It could also be a narcissist that you frequent the same social places and so forth. So it's kind of hard not to, have any interactions with them. But nevertheless, it doesn't really matter where the narcissist comes from. The goal and the aim and the objective is to basically, be so boring that the narcissist just gets so disgusted that they minimally speak with you or minimally have any contact with you. So I'm also going to talk about some strategies and some steps of how to gray rock the narcissist to keep the narcissist away from you. All right. So the first thing that I want to delve into is that gray rocking is a way to basically protect your peace. And when I say protect your peace, it doesn't go off of the idea that you're initially or you're always having a fight with the narcissist verbally. That's not what it means. But you have some type of narcissist now where they are so annoying. It doesn't matter how you try to separate yourselves or how you try to keep a distance with them. They insist on being annoying. They insist on having interactions with you. And they insist on having those interactions with you just on purpose. They just do it to get under your skin, just to irritate you. Because deep down inside, that narcissist knows that you are not interested in having any type of dealings with them, but they want to get to you. You have to remember, narcissists are very toxic, and their mission and their goal is to always irritate and annoy you. They always do things. They always have a plan on how to get under people's skin. So when you realize that you're dealing with a narcissist like that, your goal or your strategy should be to just stay away from them or make minimal contact with them. So that way they're not there to consistently keep irritating and annoying you. All right. When the narcissist has access to you, it is much easier for the narcissist to manipulate you. All right. It's much easier for the narcissist to continually abuse you. So when you gray rock that narcissist, it's like you're literally putting a stick. You're putting a wall in between you and the narcissist to say, hey, I'm not letting you get any closer to me, or you're not going to be able to do this to me anymore. Right? So as a result, when you start gray rocking, you're making yourself so boring so that the narcissist lose interest in you. So the first strategy that I think that anyone should do to gray rock a narcissist is when you start to have like any type of conversation with the narcissist, keep those responses very short and simple. Okay? Say, for example, the narcissist, is trying to be cordial with you and they ask you a question. Let's say, for example, the narcissist says, how do you like your job? You're simply going to respond and say, it's good. Cut and dry. You just say it's good, or you might say something like, everything is good. Okay? You're not going to go into, you like the fact that the company had, their Christmas party last month. You're not going to go into the fact that you are now a supervisor. You're not going to go into the fact that you have to do, XYZ task in the morning. You're not going to go into any details with that narcissist about anything. All right? When you keep it short and simple, in other words, you're basically teaching and training the narcissist that every time when you ask me a question, my response is going to be very short, simple, sweet. It's going to be cut and dry. It's like you're not giving them any room to come with another sentence or another topic or any other type of conversation. In other words, you are basically disengaging from the narcissist by keeping your conversation very short and sweet. Now, when you cut that conversation short and so forth, please don't feel obligated that you have to, try to start something else with them. The whole goal is that you just want them to know that, listen, I'm not really interested in having any conversation with you. Please just keep it moving. All right? That's it. Trust me, they'll get the hint. Now, the next strategy, the second thing that you should do, although I just said that the narcissist, when they speak with you, to cut the conversation short, you should not be trying to invite or even start conversation with the narcissist. And when I say conversation, I'm not talking about if you see the narcissist and the narcissist, perceives to make eye contact with you or the narcissist tries to say hello. Try your best not to invite any conversation. So, for example, let's say, you're at like a social gathering, a place that you and the narcissist frequent. Because although narcissists are all over the place, we live in a world where we have to go out, we have to socialize, we have to see other people. And we can't control where people go and we can't control what people do. So for the sake of that, you're always going to run into these narcissists. But if it's a narcissist that you know or a narcissist that you used to deal with, and for example, let's say you're at the social gathering and you see the narcissist, you're not going to run away. You're not going to start hiding your face. You're not going to turn your back. You're not going to do any of that. You're just going to stand where you are, whoever you're with, or if you're by yourself, and you're just going to continue enjoying yourself and doing what you're doing at your activity. But you are not going to go over there and you are not going to open your mouth and start having conversation with the narcissist. As a matter of fact, you're not even going to go say hello. You're just going to stay where you are at your post or your area. If the narcissist proceeds to come over or come to you or come near you and try to make conversation with you, or if you're in a group or try to make conversation with the group, you stand there, but you just don't open your mouth and start having conversations with the narcissist one-on-one. You don't do that, okay? You do not invite the narcissist to keep talking with you. Trust you me, they will see how uninviting you are and they will see how boring it is when they try to have a conversation with you. So that's another way to gray rock the narcissist. I didn't say that you can't respond if the narcissist says hello to you, but I wouldn't go, if it's me and I'm trying to gray rock a narcissist to prevent them from having conversation with me, I would not go out of my way to initiate anything with them. Cut and dry. You want to come and say hello, you say hello. We're all human beings. But if you think that I'm going to sit there and I'm going to ask you how your day is going and I'm going to say, how is your family? How is your life? I am not interested in stuff like that because I don't want to invite any conversation with the narcissist. So that's what you do. You just stay where you are. You keep it simple and sweet. If they try to make conversation, as I said, cut it, make it very small, and you do not initiate any conversation with the narcissist. Please limit your conversation with them. The next strategy that you want to do when you're trying to gray rock a narcissist is you have to learn to control your emotions when you're trying to gray rock a narcissist. See, narcissists are troublemakers. They are troublemakers. And when I say troublemaker, I don't mean that they physically cause harm. A narcissist is an emotional vampire. They're an emotional troublemaker. And how they do it is that they like to get a reaction out of you. They like to see when you squirm. They like to see when you're upset. They like to see when you're unhappy. You have to remember, a narcissist is a very unhappy, a very low self-esteem type of person. They have nothing to look forward to. So what better way to make themselves feel good? What better way for them to get validation than seeing you being unhappy and seeing your face upset, your jaw dropped, and your emotions all over the place. So if you come across again a narcissist that you're trying to gray rock, and some of them they like to insult. That's another thing with a narcissist, and so forth. Or when they make you upset, they want to see you cry. If you feel the need that that a narcissist has upset you so badly, please don't sit there and cry and show the emotions on your face. Your face should always have a nice smile or a plastic type of smile on it. Your face should always be just nonchalant or non-biased. Your face should not show any type of emotion. You don't show the narcissist that you're sad. You don't show the narcissist that you're happy. Many times in life when we have things going on in our lives, which can have absolutely nothing to do with a narcissist, but because, they're so wrapped up in validation, a lot of them like to think that if you look unhappy or you're over happy that day, that it's because of them. Never ever let a narcissist feel that your smile or the way your emotions or the way your face is has anything to do with them. Don't give a narcissist that type of validation. How you feel, whether you're feeling sad that day, you're feeling happy that day, that is none of the narcissist's business, and you shouldn't have to justify that. Okay? So what you do is you learn to control the way you're feeling around them. Don't let them see you cry. For example, if it's a narcissist that you live with, let's say it's a partner, and the narcissist does, something to upset you, you don't have to let that narcissist see how upset you are. You just going about your business, you just going about your day. They know they're upsetting you, but do not give them the pleasure of letting them know that they got to you. Later when the narcissist isn't around, if you want to holler, cry, scream, you want to bury your head in a pillow, whatever you want to do, but do not give that narcissist that control of your emotions. Don't let them see your facial expression, which is expressing how you internally feel, because they get a kick out of that. Again, you're going to have very boring looking expressions on your face. Your expression is just going to be nonchalant. You're not going to try to show them what's going on with inside of you. They don't need to know. That is not their business how you feel. As far as, sharing any type of information with the narcissist, this is another way that you have to gray rock the narcissist. You see, narcissists are nosy. They're chatterboxes. They love to gossip. And the reason why they love to do these things is because they need to make themselves feel better. As I've said in previous videos, these people have no self-esteem. And what better way to try to boost their self-esteem or try to boost them than to see you, not doing well or not feeling well. They want to hear bad news about you. A narcissist loves to hear bad news. They love to hear when things aren't going well. They love to hear that your personal life is falling apart. They love to hear that you're having financial difficulties. They love to hear that you're not in good health. Because when they hear these things, you give them something to talk about. So when you come across the narcissist that you cannot avoid, and they try to interrogate you, because a narcissist loves to interrogate. Everything with a narcissist is a question. They always want to know what you're doing, when you did this, who did this with who did what. They're like detectives. They're seriously like detectives. I don't know why, because it's like, they're unpaid detectives. But when you come across a narcissist, and if you're forced to, or if you had a little conversation with them and they try to interrogate you and ask you questions about your life or about what's going on with you, please do not share any personal information with that narcissist. I don't care how minimal or how small it is. Because when you're talking to a narcissist, you're not talking to a genuine person that is asking you how you feel, what's really going on with you. They're not asking you out of concern. They're asking you your personal information so they can go and make a mockery out of it and tell someone else and basically laugh, especially if you're having a hard time or an issue with something. They get a kick and a thrill out of it. And the ironic thing is that they don't share anything about themselves. What they do share, when they do try to tell you a little story about themselves, they just share a whole bunch of lies and overly exaggerated and overly inflated stories about themselves, because they're all liars. Narcissists are a bunch of liars. Their whole life is a lie. Okay? A narcissist is such a liar. Like, let's say they're on a job and they get they might get like a little promotion. Maybe they get a promotion. Maybe they get $1 raise. A narcissist will lie and tell you that they got a $5 raise. They like to exaggerate everything. They do everything 10x. Okay? So when they ask you for personal information or personal questions, they just want to know what you're doing so they could basically continue that secret competition that they have with you, because they're always competing with you. Right. And when they ask you your personal info, they just want to see how bad you're doing. That's how narcissistic people are. Nothing is ever genuine with a narcissist. And the most important thing is when you share your personal information with that narcissist, once you and that narcissist go sour, because it's inevitable. Nobody keeps any friendships. Nobody keeps a relationship with a narcissist because they can't get along with anybody. There's always an issue with a narcissist. Once you share that type of information or you share anything with them, it's a wrap. They're going to use it against you later. They're going to, if let's say you have a fight with a narcissist, they're going to come back and tell you, oh, well, that's why this happened to you, or this is why you're feeling like this. They like to throw your issues and your problems back in your face. So you just have to keep your business to yourself. You cannot let a narcissist know anything about you. I'll give you an example. I remember there's a narcissist that I know. This narcissist is actually a family member. Okay. And I remember I was having conversation with this narcissist, and we were talking about, money, and we are talking about some people that were able to get some money and so forth, with the type of job that they were doing. And I revealed to him that, that people are getting money this type of way. This is years later. I told this narcissist this like years. And I remember, telling him about someone that I knew that I came across a little bit of money. To this day, well, I haven't spoken to this narcissist in a while, but I remember each time that I spoke with that narcissist, and even if we were having conversation about something totally different, that narcissist would find a way to bring back what I told him about the person that received the funds. And the only reason why he kept bringing it up, because, the person that received the funds was able to do a lot of things. The person started a business. The person was doing well. Because that narcissist was jealous of that person, or probably is still jealous to this day, they kept bringing up, oh, remember when you said that so-and-so got this type of money and so-and-so got this type of funding and they did this and did that, and they were only able to do it because they got the money. In other words, he was trying, the narcissist that I know, the family narcissist was trying to put the person down that was successful, because the person that got the funds used the money to invest in like a business. But because the narcissist in my family was jealous of that person and their accomplishments, they always kept talking about it. You can't tell a narcissist anything. They don't let anything go, and they keep everything, and they find a way to use every single thing that you told them. Now, when I was talking to that narcissist, of course, at the time, I didn't really know about narcissism. So I didn't realize the type of person or what he was that I was dealing with. But that's a lesson that I learned. You got to be careful what you share with a narcissist. You cannot share any personal information. It'll come back and bite you, and they will always keep bringing it up, even when it's totally irrelevant, even when it has nothing to do with anything you're talking about. All right. The other way and the other strategy that you can gray rock a narcissist is do not, I repeat, do not get involved in their drama. All right? When they try to pull you in their drama, just stay away from it. So I'm going to talk about the number one way that narcissists like to bring drama. Narcissists like to bring drama in the case of triangulation. And you see this more so, you see triangulation, you could see it with like a parent and another sibling. They try to like triangulate another sibling against each other. Again, as I always say, a triangle has three sides. So it could be the narcissistic parent and two other siblings, right? And they try to put each other against each other. All right. They like to cause drama. So again, if that, say that narcissistic parent came to you and they're telling you about this sibling, or they're talking about this other person in the family, please don't even entertain the conversation. All right. What you do is when they try to involve you or tell you or get your opinion, you simply change the subject, or you just appear very bored, or you just, give them like one word responses when they try to get you involved in it. Don't give any opinions. Don't give any long, answers. Well, I think this is what you should do. You shouldn't do this. Do not. In other words, become so unresponsive or lightly responsive that they're just like, you know what? This person is not even worth talking to. If it's a parent and child relationship, let them move on to another one of your siblings. Don't even listen to it. Because if you listen to it or you invite them to keep going with the drama, they're always going to keep pulling you into it. Narcissists love drama because they're always bored. They're always bored. They get a high off people that are having problems and people that are fighting. They love it. Another way that you should not get involved with drama is, okay, let's say, it's the lover relationship. Again, I always speak, from a woman's point of view. Let's say, you're dealing with a gentleman, right? If you're a woman or you're a man, you're dealing with your significant other, and you notice that they have called somebody else into it, or they're telling you a story, or they're trying to get you to fight with another person that they're seeing or cheating on you with. Please don't get involved in the drama. Whatever they do, okay, if it's a case where, like your dude is cheating on you or your lady's cheating on you, whatever, okay, you let them cheat. You do what they need to do. All right, you just pull yourself out of that. This is where you stand on business. Whoever they're cheating with, you let them stay whatever they're cheating with, and you just take yourself out of that equation. Do not infuse the drama with the narcissist. Do not help the narcissist to do the drama. Become so boring, become so unresponsive that they're like, you know what? Despite this, triangulation that I'm trying to do, he or she, they're not even interested. They're not paying attention. Trust you me, it will fade out. It will sizzle out because they see that you're not interested and you're not giving them any type of response to their drama. Okay? The next thing that I think you need to do in order to gray rock the narcissist, you have to limit contact. Now, initially I talked about, when you see them in person, whether you work with them, it's a social gathering, or even if you're having a relationship or you're living with the narcissist. But a great way to gray rock a narcissist that you cannot avoid or, is limited in avoiding is to just make the contact as less or as small as possible. And what that entails is, this is the narcissist that likes to talk on the phone, or this is the narcissist that doesn't live with you, that you don't really see often, or they could be in the same state or the same country with you, doesn't really matter. But this is the narcissist that, they every once in a while you talk with them, or they talk with you maybe once or twice a week. But if you notice, when you have a conversation with this narcissist, it's just all about them. It's either all about them or it's all about the drama. That type of narcissist, when they call you, and it's always them calling you, you never call them, because when you have tried to call that narcissist or try to initiate having a conversation with that narcissist is just so wrapped up in their world, right? It's just all about them. They could care less about what's going on with you. They could care less about what you're dealing with. They just want you to sit there and be a therapist for them. That's another thing with narcissists. Narcissists love therapeutic relationships. And what I mean by therapeutic relationships, I'm talking about they just want you to just sit there on the phone with them and just listen to their drama and their stories, their stupid stories, their stupid dramas and their stupid problems. And 99% of the time, those dramas and those stories and those problems are what they caused. But they want you to take time out of your day to listen to their bullshit. What is ironic about it is that if you call a narcissist, or you think you have a narcissistic friend, let's say you're not into this whole thing with narcissism and you don't know that it's a narcissist. If you call them and you try to have a conversation with that narcissist is going to cut that conversation. Or the biggest thing that some of them do is that they're going to talk over you. They're just going to keep talking and talking and talking about their shit. They're not even going to want to know what's going on with you. All right. And I'll tell you a quick story time. I knew a girl, she was a narcissist too. I knew a girl that, we'd hang out sometimes. We were friends and so forth, and we'd have conversations. And she was a chatterbox. She was a chatterbox. As I said, narcissists are chatterboxes. They just love to talk about nothing. They love to talk about themselves, and they like to talk about other people's business. But they never, ever, ever focus on you, that is their friend or their significant other. It's all about them. And I remember when I would have any conversations with her, other than when we hung out, or if we're having any conversations on the phone, let's say, she called me or I called and I were talking, and let's say I was just talking about, how my day went at work, or I was talking about, I had a doctor's appointment, just anything that I was talking about in life. She would listen for a split second, and some sick way, she would just end up just taking over the conversation and making the conversation about her. And she would just keep cutting you off and cutting you off and cutting you off. After a while, it's like I couldn't even have a conversation with her because they have no interest in what you're doing. Okay? So this is where I realized that I just had to cut the conversation off. Right. I spoke to her about it. I said, I can't have a conversation with you because every time when I'm trying to have a conversation with you, you just keep cutting me off and you keep talking over and bringing back your story, your issue. I said, I've listened to you, but you're not interested in me. And they're never interested in you. They just want to keep talking and talking over you. They want to shut you down. It becomes almost like a competition. It becomes like a prize. it's like they're working for a prize to see how much or how fast they could shut you down. That's exactly how they are. So it's like you can't really have any type of interaction with them. You got to limit the contact with them, limit the conversations with them. When you limit those conversations with them, they know that not to waste your time, because they're time wasters. They like to waste people's time. They want you to give them therapy sessions all the time. So you have to basically cut that down. Right. So those are some of the ways that you just have to, gray rock the narcissist. You want to become as boring as possible to the narcissist. You want to become so boring that they're like, oh no, I'm not going to even bother. They'll pick up the hint. They'll get it. You have to remember, these subtle ways or these subtle moves that you're going to do to gray rock the narcissist, this is their regular behavior. When a narcissist is not interested in you or what you're doing, some of them, they will even sleep on you. I can remember talking to narcissists, on the phone. I remember talking to a narcissist on the phone. We were doing a video call. And I was talking to the narcissist, and the narcissist literally fell asleep or pretended. Well, they probably pretended to fall asleep. But that was a narcissist's way of telling me that he didn't want to hear what I have to say. But I'm going to tell you something. Before I started talking about, my life and my things, that narcissist went on for how many minutes talking about what is being done to him at his job and how people are treating him bad and this and that. Again, it's always a therapy session for these narcissists. So don't engage in conversations with them. If you must see them or you have to see them, just keep it very short and sweet. Keep it, very minimal. Like I said, simple one-word answers. Yes, no, or maybe a 2-word sentence. That's fine. Or no worries, or that's good. Just keep it very short and sweet. Do not engage in having any long conversations with them. They're not interested in you. So why should you waste your time and be interested in them? You see, you have to understand, narcissists are all over the place. They're all over the world. And a lot of other influencers will tell you, with every narcissist, just go no contact and so forth. Yes, there are some narcissists that you can go no contact with. You go no contact with them, you get your peace back, or you start developing your peace. But there's some of them that you cannot avoid. Some of them that you see. Okay? If you're at a job where there's a narcissist there, what if the narcissist is your boss? Right? What if the narcissist is your supervisor? What are you going to do? You have to report to your job. The logical thing or the correct thing to do if the narcissist becomes so annoying is, okay, get another job or go to another department. But we all know how those things work on the job, how long that would take and so forth. Why would you let anybody disturb your peace like that? So what I'm saying is you have to come up with a way or learn how to basically gray rock them and keep your contact and your responses very low. That is your way of telling them stylishly that you are not interested in their nonsense. You are not interested in having a friendship with them. You are not interested in building a relationship with them. Right. But at the same time, we're all human beings. We're all mature. We can also be cordial. The thing is, that narcissist, by you gray rocking that narcissist already figured out or will figure out that you know exactly who and what they are. Because a big thing or a big deal with narcissists is that a lot of people, when they're dealing with narcissists, they don't know that they're dealing with a narcissist. Before I learned and understood what narcissism was, there were so many narcissists that I dealt with and I didn't even know what I was dealing with. But now, going forward, when I come across a narcissist that's toxic or a narcissist that's just a straight troublemaker, I know exactly how to handle that narcissist. Right. If I'm working with a narcissist and if I'm working with a person and I see that they're a narcissist or they're just straight up toxic, I still go in and do my job. I have to go in and do my day job. But there is no way I am going to sit there and engage in having any conversation or any type of long-winded, drawn-out argument with a toxic person. You're not going to disturb my peace. And I would tell you guys, don't let anybody disturb your peace. So I hope that helps you. I hope you understand where I'm coming from when I say that, it's good to gray rock. Gray rock just helps you to keep your peace. It helps you, to basically stop the narcissist from getting that emotional supply from you. In other words, gray rocking lets you starve that narcissist. You starve that narcissist from any type of emotional supply or any, verbal, long-winded connection with you. You have no time to waste with them. Some of them are hard to avoid, but if you have to come across them or you have to work with them or you have to see them or you could be a co-parent, Right. Doesn't matter who that narcissist is. Learn to gray rock. Learn to keep your conversations minimal with them, and learn to keep silent. Once you do that, the narcissist will definitely pick it up and realize that, okay, this person is just not interested in having any type of interaction, or they just want to have minimal interaction with me. They'll get the hint. So with that said, if you like the content or you think it's interesting, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. You could put in a section, you could let me know if there's a narcissist that you ever had to gray rock, or in the process of gray rocking a narcissist. What is it you're doing to keep your emotional peace? What are you doing? Are you trying to get rid of one, or are you just trying to not deal with them, or are you trying to keep the conversation minimal? Right. The best way to, starve a narcissist is to gray rock. With that said, people, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.